Have you ever been in someone's company who seemed friendly on paper but made you feel uneasy deep down? Do you ever get the creeps or have a gut feeling that something evil is hiding behind that smile? Among the world's leading authorities on the mind, Carl Jung laid forward a fundamental principle: the darkness, to ensure that you don't miss any of the next videos on spiritual and personal development. Subscribe to both the Mind Odyssey channel and the Telegram channel before we begin. Our treatment of other people is a common reflection of our shadow selves, the parts of ourselves that we try to hide, but which are always there. Even though people cover up their feelings of jealousy, animosity, or hate, it is still there. If someone you care about is harboring angry feelings, no matter how hard they attempt to disguise them, today I will show you 8 telltale symptoms. We should begin right away. The initial sign is irony posing as disdain. In most cases, repressed hostility is not the root cause of overt manifestations of hatred. Some individuals like to make fun of things they know you find sensitive, using biting sarcasm, sarcastic jokes, or bars. But when you attempt to bring it up, they reply with things like, "But I was only joking, don't be touchy, or you don't know how to play the game." The other person keeps up the pretense of being humorous without being malicious, which is particularly subtle because it makes you feel uneasy. If his jokes continually put you in a humiliating or demeaning position, it's not funny. It could be an indication of suppressed animosity. Similarly, if he uses irony about the same issues again and again, it's evident that he has buried disdain for you. In a subtle and unintentional way, we project our own shadow onto other people, says Jung. The continual use of irony to criticize specific aspects of your personality exposes a side of their own personality that they find undesirable. Covert sabotage is the subject of the second sign. If someone close to you feels intimidated by your progress or success, they might try to undermine you quietly. Sometimes sabotage manifests as poorly advised advice, misunderstandings, or small mistakes that, when compounded, make it impossible to achieve your goals. If a loved one or acquaintance seems negligent because they fail to remember important information, fail to mention important data, or make things more difficult than they need to be, they might not be as careless as they seem. Given the frequency with which these events occur at critical junctures, it is imperative that we ask whether they are truly coincidental. You can tell if someone is trying to hurt you subconsciously by how often these behaviors occur. Those who aren't brave enough to face their own flaws, says Jung, may inadvertently take it out on others as a means of avoiding feeling inferior to themselves. Sign number 3 is about the silent competition. Some individuals can't accept that you're good at something, so they feel the need to outdo you. Instead of congratulating you, they find something to say about themselves after each success you have, attempting to take the spotlight off of you or downplay your accomplishment. If you tell them about your success, they will immediately say that they have done the same or even better. The origin of this covert animosity is often profound self-doubt. The practice's adherents find it unbearable since it casts doubt on their own value. It seems like there might be some hidden hatred going on if every conversation with this individual becomes a battle. Jung claims that shadow projection happens when people see qualities in other people that they lack the self-control to develop. When individuals feel inadequate, they try to put you down or compete with you so they don't have to face their own feelings of inadequacy. Support at the surface level is the subject of the 4th indication. People that hate you in private will make up an explanation when you ask for help, but they will minimize the problem or make up an excuse not to be there when you succeed. They don't really care or are acting it out. If a loved one is chronically absent or unconcerned when you tell them about your successes, it could be a clue that they don't feel good about you. This attitude is especially apparent during major life events. Looking at the person's reaction to your achievements and failures makes it obvious, albeit it's not always easy to see. Ego detachment, Jung argues, is a technique by which certain people become emotionally distant from others. This could show up as a lack of empathy and a tendency to isolate oneself. Please know how much I want this movie to bring joy, knowledge, and inspiration into your life. In that case, be sure you don't miss a thing by subscribing to the Mind Odyssey channel. In addition, you can show your appreciation for our channel and the work we do by leaving a donation under the video. Control posing as compassion is the 5th sign, and we shall be forever grateful for it. Some people try to control your life while acting as if it's for your good. They tell you what to do, make you feel bad about your decision-making abilities, and criticize everything you do. Instead of trying to help you, their intention is to make you feel dependent on them. This control might be hard to spot, since it often appears as caring advice and displays of affection. If, after receiving each piece of advice, you feel even more insecure instead of more confident, it could be a sign of manipulation. The need to control other people stems, says Jung, from an irrational fear of one's own instability. Some people try to exert control over other people's lives so they don't have to cope with their own emotional instability. As a sixth sign, rumors and criticism are starting to circulate. People usually prefer to vent their frustrations onto other people rather than at you directly, sharing unfounded claims and critical remarks on you. What makes this behavior so harmful is that it affects you indirectly, frequently without your awareness until you feel the consequences. When people around you start to act differently, such when they start to avoid you or act colder without giving a clear reason, it could be a sign that someone is spreading negative rumors about you. False or exaggerated rumors can be a powerful tool for those who have resentment against you, as they can tarnish your reputation and gradually separate you from the public eye. When you feel the want to belittle other people, it's usually because you're trying to project your own insecurities and vulnerabilities onto them, says Jung. If you're unhappy or feel inadequate, one way to cope is to criticize other people. To rephrase, those who find fault with you are probably revealing more about themselves than you are. The seventh red flag is when you fail to take pleasure in your achievements. Those who truly care about you are happy for you whenever you reach a milestone. Even though they believe it's wonderful and rewarding when you accomplish, they also cheer you on when times are tough. In contrast, those who hold grudges against you will go to great lengths to hide their anger. You can tell they are there by their cold replies, sudden changes in subject, or an attempt to downplay your achievements if you bring them up, and they respond with apathy. Either that's great, or they immediately draw attention to themselves. There are a few possible explanations, such as feelings of jealousy or poorly managed competition. Jung claims that when people can't rejoice in the successes of others, it shows that they have an unsolved inner conflict over how their own shortcomings are magnified by their achievements. The rationale for this is that their inaction becomes more apparent when you achieve your objectives. That kind of person would often say things like, "Well, it's not that important," in order to minimize your achievements. "You should have done a better job," or at least I did when I was younger. In addition to expressing thoughts, these statements show a concealed lack of patience. If you notice that someone around you seems irritated instead than happy when you achieve achievement, it's probably because they're going through something completely different internally. Subtleties and nonverbal cues are highly related to the eighth sign. Subtle animosity, sometimes expressed through nonverbal clues and irrational emotions, can be exposed by even the most inconspicuous of details: an awkward expression, an awkward look. 1,000 words are not enough to describe the meaning of a tight silence or an abrupt change in facial expression. No matter how hard a person tries to keep their feelings hidden, their body will always show them. Even if someone seems to really like you, you can know they're antagonistic toward you by the way they act. For example, they may stiffen their hands when you bring up an accomplishment, change the pitch of their voice significantly when they compliment you, or even avoid eye contact at certain points. No matter how much effort someone puts into masking their feelings, Jung argued that their nonverbal cues reveal the truth about their psychological and physical states. Because our bodies respond to true feelings, even when our minds pretend to be something else, this is what happens. If you get the impression that someone is anxious, uneasy, or cold, trust your intuition. You may have picked up on a hint that your rational mind has trouble reasoning. To spot these signals, one must be sensitive and alert. Words may be deceiving, but subtleties and nonverbal cues convey the reality. Thank you for being there for us on this journey. You'll be in the next video with me.